Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Discussion. Today's topic might be a little controversial, but I think it's worth noting. We just got back inside. We were out working on an E350, so we're going to talk about that in another video. But on the discussion videos, we just talk about stuff, and it's a perfect day for it. We got a blizzard going on outside, so we're done working on that for the day. I have to go pick up a few more parts. If you ever worked on an E350 or any kind of full-size service van where you got to take the doghouse off to get inside there, not a whole lot of fun.
I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you.
Alright, so obviously you could tell by the title, today's topic is why electric cars and electric assisted cars, modern cars in general, but I wanted to focus on electric vehicles, is not the way of the future for the car enthusiast. And like I said, this might be kind of controversial and really, in my opinion, not the way of the future at all in general. You could debate renewable resources, all that crap all day long, but now if we're mining for some of these things, it's a whole nother video. For the car enthusiast, specifically for the car enthusiast, is why I wanted to bring this topic up, and that's because of a lot of news that's coming with some of these newer vehicles, right? Nissan just announced that maybe they're working on an S chassis car, an S16. There's rumors it might be electric, and I don't think this is the way to go for the car enthusiast, because as car enthusiasts, we like to feel our cars. I reviewed the 2020 Supra when it first came out, and that was a phenomenal car, but the only gripe I had, and I said this in that video, was I would have loved to have a manual transmission. Granted, the car was so good, I still enjoyed it, it was still fun, and a lot of that might be nostalgia. You know, we grew up watching Fast and Furious and seeing the MK4 Supra, but I want to bring that to light here because the only MK4 Supra that I've ever had the pleasure to drive was a naturally aspirated 5-speed car. Which one did I think was more fun? Can you guess? Honestly, call me crazy. I loved the 2020. It was an awesome car. You know, love it or hate it. It got a lot of criticism for pairing up with BMW. But my point here, just as an example, is that the 2020 Supra didn't feel as raw as the MK4 Supra did. Granted, the MK4 Supra that I drove personally was like the base model MK4 Supra. We're talking naturally aspirated 5-speed transmission, but it seemed more raw. It seemed, a lot of it was probably the nostalgia of driving the MK4 Supra. It's like the holy grail car, right? But any of these kind of cars feel that way to me. My MK1 Audi TT, it's a 2000, it's an old car. What is it, 22 years old now? It just feels a lot more raw than a lot of the newer cars. And that has to do with a lot of awesome technology that's coming out. But for me personally, I'd rather have that raw feeling. Another great example would be my 1998 Mustang GT that I had. That car felt awesome. I loved everything about that car, just the design, all of that stuff, but it felt raw. Same thing with my Celica GTS. That car just felt super entertaining to drive because you were very connected to the car. I drove my Celica GTS back-to-back against a Type R Civic when those came out, and I loved the Civic Type R, but things like the steering feel, that kind of stuff, I prefer the older vehicles. But what does that have to do with electric cars? Well, as I said, new cars are getting to the point where we got electronic steering. We have all these things that are great features, but it makes the car feel more distant. It doesn't feel as much like you're connected to the car as it is the car is helping you go down the road. As a car enthusiast, we want our cars to be entertaining to drive, right? With my limited experience driving electric cars, I'm going to put one hybrid in there. That would be my Toyota Prius. Now, there's nothing sporty about a Prius at all. I loved my Prius for the fuel mileage and the surprising amount of space that it had, but the car itself felt really dead. It was very quiet, it didn't make any noise, it just felt futuristic, and it really just felt like I was sitting back and not really doing much of anything other than pushing the button and steering the car. I drove a Tesla when I worked at Toyota. That car, it was really fast, but it made absolutely no sound, and it just felt like I was wrapped in this little space shuttle, and I had no input at all other than mashing the gas pedal. And how boring are car reviews going to be? I mean, honestly, think about it. You get inside an electric car, and they all do the same thing. They make zero noise, and they go really fast and have instant torque. You're not going to have a variety in these new cars if they go to electric, and how are we going to modify them? The enthusiast is going to have to learn a whole new game of modifications just to deal with the new platform. So you think of a more modern car, and a really good example would be my Audi TT, which is a 2000, and let's say the S5 that I drove. It was like a 2016, and it was an automatic transmission car, which newer cars are going closer and closer and closer to. And if we're electric, you're not going to have a manual transmission, which is a huge fail. And I think a lot of other car enthusiasts would agree with me there. But back to my Audi and this S5. Was the S5 faster? Yes. Did it handle better? Yes. Did it have more personality? No. You know, I drove this car, and I mean, it was a beautiful car. The interior, as Audi does, was absolutely outstanding. It had a lot of power. I got to drive a V8 version of the car, and I drove a supercharged V6. Both of them just felt like they were lacking personality. You know, as a car enthusiast, it's not necessarily enough to go fast. You want to be able to enjoy the experience. My Celica GTS wasn't fast at all. It was a zippy car, but it wasn't fast. It was the joy of listening to it wind out, the notchy shifter, the way that it handled like a little go-kart. All of those things, as we add more electronic controls, are going to go away. And for a car enthusiast, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. And electric cars, that's only going to get 10 times worse. The new Mustang is rumored to be coming out with an all-wheel drive version. What do you see the... Hey! Oh, okay. What do you see the memes of Mustangs saturating the internet? Drifting into people, killing crowds, and that's part of the control of the car. It's part of the personality. It's exciting to drive a car that might be a little sketchy. If you do this all-wheel drive thing, just like electric, you're taking more of the skill and enjoyment and personality out of that vehicle. And I just don't think it's going to be a big sell in the enthusiast market. So I don't think Nissan has any business doing an S chassis car that's fully electric. I just don't think people are going to enjoy it that much. Honda's latest NSX used electric technology to power the car, right? They had a gasoline engine and then electric motors on the wheels. And from reviews, what I've read, journalists, I mean, one, it got priced out of the market. So I'm not really talking about that. But a lot of people said it felt like it could have been better. It could have had more personality. People didn't complain about that with the first generation NSX. It wasn't the fastest car in the world, but it had character. So I think these modern car companies are going to be in trouble because, like I said, you know, not that every enthusiast car is going to electric, but if you talk to a lot of car enthusiasts, they prefer the older variants of some of these cars to the new ones. And electric vehicles, it only gets more dead. They all do the exact same thing. There's no noise, which in and of itself should make the point of this entire video. But I think if these companies aren't careful, there's been rumors that Dodge is going to go all electric with the Challenger and the Charger as well. I don't think that is good for the enthusiast market. I think these things are going to tank. Is there going to be a niche market for those kind of cars? Yeah, but it's not going to be real car guys. I really don't think so. So I think these companies have to be really careful going forward that they build something that is going to be enjoyed by the vast majority of car enthusiasts. And I do not think that going full electric on an enthusiast car, or a sports car at that, is the answer to the question. I think you leave well enough alone. We love our cars the way they are. Learn from the GR86, learn from the modern Mustangs, learn from the new Nissan Z. All of those cars are a hit because they have personality and they're fun to drive. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's weekly discussion video. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Again, this is just my opinion, obviously. I like to bring these things forward and encourage conversation. You know, that's what it's all about. We got to talk and let these people know what we want to see as car enthusiasts. So drop me a comment down below. One other thing I want to mention, we're getting so close to 2,000 subscribers. And when we do, I'm going to be doing another tool giveaway. The only criteria to enter is that you're subscribed to the channel, and all 2,000 people will be entered for the tool giveaway. So show your support, hit that subscribe button so you're updated every time we upload a video. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.